Today's episode will be talking with Mike P about music production.
What up, Mike P here. Stick around, check it out.
Welcome to the Tunepact Podcast. I'm your host, the punk rock pop Lee Pierce. And today we'll be talking about music production with Mike P. Mike, thanks for coming on. Can you give us a quick introduction?
Hello. I'm Mike P, producer, songwriter, musician, and a mixer. Do all that kind of stuff.
So how'd you get started in the industry? You've been doing this a long time and got a long list of credits, but where'd you get your start?
I don't know how far back you want to go, but one day I was 7 years old. My mom showed up with a guitar for me and got me guitar lessons. So I started then, and it just became an obsession since then, and just kind of dropped everything else in my life at about 13 and just did nothing but music. And then went on from there. I had scholarships to different schools, and ended up I went to Berklee College of Music in Boston after high school, and then got out of there and was performing a lot, different bands and different artists. And then I was always really interested in the recording process and being an engineer or producer. So I started buying some gear for myself, and I was always making tracks and just instrumental tracks, and I was just goofing around really. And then I started working in some recording studios in Detroit, and then it just kind of grew from there. I started off as an engineer, and then I started producing records, and then just as a fluke, I played some of my tracks, and I was just goofing around, just because I'd practice and do music every day, and I played them some tracks, and the next day they were like, okay, meet me in the studio. Meet me back at the other studio tomorrow. I'm like, okay. So the next day in the studio, they wrote lyrics to my tracks. I was like, wow, really? Cool. And that was Insane Clown Posse. And then they were like, do you have any more? And I'm like, yeah, I got a ton, and I can write more. And then they ended up, their record label gave me a little bit of money to buy some more equipment for my home studio. And then it just went from there. Every single day I would work in their studio in the morning, and then at night I was at my studio writing tracks. And I for Insane Clown Posse and the artists on their label, I have maybe 250 songs with them so far, plus songs that I was just an engineer on. So there's even more. But that's a quick history.
And what's their label? Is that Psychopathic Records?
Yeah, Psychopathic Records. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so how many years have you been working with them now?
Well, I first met them in 2000, middle of 2000, and I helped build their recording studio. They sold it recently, but they used to have this enormous building, like this huge warehouse, offices in it, and then I helped. I didn't do the construction; I just helped put all the equipment together, which was a lot of fun. They gave me a blank check to go to. To music stores and buy a ton of stuff, that was a great time. And I put it all together, and then we started recording, and that was it. Kind of just been doing it ever since. And now we live kind of far apart from each other. So these days, it's kind of cool. We just work over the internet. They'll call me or text me and like, hey, we need a piece of music that sounds like this or that, and I'll make a piece of music and then email it to them, and hopefully they like it.
Yeah, it's amazing what the music industry has done now. You don't have to talk to anyone I mean, this is as most face-to-face I get unless I'm going to a physical show. I don't.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice what you can accomplish from home nowadays.
Yeah, it's cool. It's good. And then my studio is in my house, so I just sit on the couch and just wait for something to happen in my head, and then just jump into my studio and work, and it's cool.
Now, do you do more where you kind of come up with the stuff where you're writing it and then see if somebody's looking for that, or do you have more where artists are saying, "Hey, could you do this for me?"
More so, people will call me and ask for something specific. I've written for other people. I'd just be talking to people and they'd be like, "Yeah, send me some tracks," and I send them stuff, and it never works. Like they have to. For me, my experience is they're looking for something specific, then I could nail that idea for them. But and I have I have a bunch of tracks sitting around that are done already that I'll put up on different websites online where people can check them out and then like, hey, can I use this track? Or so I do that a bit too.
So on the because well, you've got your band also. Zug Island right there on your shirt. So how long have you been doing the band?
That was a creation the summer of 2001. Violent J from Insane Clown Posse uh, came to me and well, we were already working all the time. We finished a couple records, and then we didn't have much going on. So him and I were goofing around. I had some tracks, and he was writing to them. And one day he said, "Hey," he was trying to sing something. He's like, "I can't sing this thing. Do you know anyone that can sing?" I'm like, "Yeah, my roommate can sing. It's really good." And so I call him up. I'm like, "Get down here right now." So he comes to the studio and he sang on this song and then on another one. And those ended up being songs for Insane Clown Posse. But then Violent J got the idea, like, let's do a project with this singer. And so this was the same thing. We were just goofing around for like it was just a couple weeks maybe, and then we had like half a record done, and then we brought everyone from the label in, like the president of the label and the internet guys to the merch guys, and we played them all this stuff, and everyone loved it. Most importantly, the president of the label loved it, and they're like, "Yeah, why don't you guys finish this up?" And then it just kind of happened from there. It's kind of a mistake. We were just goofing around, and all of a sudden we came up with this, and then we're like, okay, let's go on the road. We toured, and we put out, I don't even know, what, 5 records now? And we toured all over the place, been to Europe a couple times, and it was fun. It's a good time. There's still a bit of a name out there for it, but we're we're a little older now, live far from each other, so it's hard to get together these days.
I love those stories, and usually it's some of the best music when the band started just goofing off.
Yeah.
Because for some people, that's when they're the most free and the best stuff comes out of them because they're not overthinking it or whatever billions of reasons there could be. So I love hearing stories like that where it just started as a goof and ended up being a really cool project that just kept growing and growing the way it did. So kudos to you. That's really cool. Well deserved too. I mean, you put your
Yeah.
time in the industry to get to be on the other side of it for once is really kind of neat.
Yeah, it was cool. It was we had a lot of fun and it's weird music, it's juggalo inspired rock, whatever that is. It's like the main guys, myself, the singer and Violent J that were creating it, and I listen to it now and I'm like, God, we're just weirdos making this music. Like, where did they come up with this? So, but it was cool. It's something different. So.
Well, what was it like going from being the behind the scenes guy to being in the band and being up front like that? What was that like having to transition like that?
Well, in Zug Island, I'm the guitar player,
Yeah.
not the front man singer. But it was something I've always done. I was in a million different bands in Detroit, and trying to I had a record deal before that, on a major label, and trying to get a record deal, trying to get something to hit, and trying to get something to stick, and trying to get. It's really hard to get people to pay attention. Even back then, late '90s, 2000, it was there wasn't really like an internet marketing kind of thing that you could do then. But you just had to get out and play shows everywhere you can and try to get someone's attention. And there'd be like industry books. You could like buy some, like basically like a phone book of like industry people, and they were really expensive. Sometimes like $500 or something. And being a broke band, you didn't really have that money. And so certain bands I was in, we'd get one of those and just flip through it and just call everyone and send a CD or a cassette out and pictures and all this crap, and it was hard. it's and now it's, you could just market yourself on the internet, which is cool. It's like it's a lot easier, but now there's just millions of people doing it. So now you have to come up with something to break through the noise.
People need to bring back the art of cold calling. I mean, emails are nowadays, but I've always been the king of cold calls. I've put together so many projects and events, especially charity events. I mean, anytime, just call. The worst you could do is get ignored.
Yeah,
I mean, it's people need to just try and keep trying. Like you said, it's not a phone book anymore, but you can still find a list of people like who do I need to get a hold of, and here's all the emails. Sit down and do the work, and you're gonna get responses. And some of the best cases is you get a no, but you get some really good advice, and
yeah,
then you get to grow and know what to do better, so you are prepared for when that opportunity comes.
yeah. I was the same way. I was a guy that would just be on the phone calling whoever, whatever, just trying to make some kind of connection, trying to make something happen, and so yeah, I was the same way. Just cold call whoever, you know. God, I had some people's phone numbers, and just call them out of the blue and hope for the best. So
Yeah, I've made contacts with people that are either just in my network or have become friends, people that I like worshipped when I was younger and now they're colleagues or friends. And it blows my mind. And it was all because I just tried. I'm like, what's the worst that could happen? You reach out to 100 people, one gets back to you. That's one more than you had.
yep, that's great. That's it. But now those days are, it's different now. I don't know. I don't know. you know.
I think it's almost harder now in some cases. Like I've even noticed trying to get different guests and stuff for my show is reaching out. Everybody has an assistant now, or everybody has a social media manager that answers all their messages. And trying
Yeah,
to actually get a hold of anyone nowadays is almost impossible. You'd think it's easier because everyone's online, but not really. Everybody pays someone else to be online for them in most
yeah.
cases.
Wow.
So
Yeah, it's a strange world. But then, if you make enough noise and if like there's an artist or someone on the artist team that learns marketing, and you get attention that way. Learn internet marketing.
oh, exactly. And that's what I do is internet marketing. And
Oh yeah.
talking about that, as a producer, how do you go about marketing yourself? Is it straight up the same, like doing social media management, or is it more word of mouth? Because, I mean, for you, you've got a list of credits that is just amazing. But for like a regular producer that's starting, how should they go about trying to market themselves?
Well, for me, when I started, I got a job at a studio in Detroit, and I just showed up every day to work. And there were projects there, and some were local bands, and some were like already, really popular artists. So that was cool. I just showed up, and then I got a job at Psychopathic Records, and it was the same thing. It was like just every day, constant work, tons of work to do. So there was no marketing involved in that, or even word of mouth. I was just working, and then after those days, it was mostly word of mouth. People just talking and hearing. And maybe they liked what I did. Maybe they heard about something. Then came the whole internet marketing thing, which yeah, I don't even know. I'm not that guy. Like I do all these different things. I write songs. I even write lyrics. I do tracks. I play drums, bass, guitar, keys. I mix. All these different things I do, and I'm like, I'm not gonna. I don't want to take on another skill. I don't want to have to learn something else, like marketing. So I tell the people around me, like, you have to go learn marketing. So this will work. so
You're not alone. My other job, I work for a record label. I'm the director of marketing and communications. So I, as artists, do and I get that. And honestly, when I first started this job, everybody always was saying when they found out I was getting a marketing degree, they're like, "You've been promoting bands for 30 years. I bet you're gonna go to the music industry." I'm like, "Absolutely not. I do not want to try to make artists sell their art. That's a personal thing. It's not fun to try to do and try to how it's just art is personal on any form, whether it's film, painting, music. So try to explain to the artist, well, yeah, you made it. Now you got to sell it. It's not an easy conversation. So you're not the only one. Like that's literally why I have a job is to help people because they can't get over that bump.
Yeah, yeah. But there are websites, obviously, like Facebook and Instagram, where I have like my producer, kind of a producer site up there, and then other websites also like soundbetter.com, where you could put a page up there, and people contact me through that, and Facebook, and looking for tracks or to get a record done. But still, for me, it's a lot of word of mouth. Even people on the other side of the country, are calling me still, and then they'll send me their friends or artists they work with. So yeah, so it still works.
Well, it still works. That's how I've got you on the show.
Yeah.
I had Sean Murphy on, and I said, "Hey, who would be a great guest?" And he said, "Mike P. You got to get
Oh,
a
that's
hold of
cool.
Mike P. He'd be great for the show."
Yeah.
So again, well, he sent me a bunch of people, word of mouth. It's how every guest is a friend of a previous guest I had, and that's just how the industry works. Any industry, especially in the entertainment industry, and all. So I love it because I'm personable. I can talk to anybody. So
Yeah. But like we were saying, like the whole marketing thing with Facebook and the social media, it's like it's so easy. Just post stuff all the time and post a project that you're working on or that has been released, and hopefully it'll direct traffic to what you're doing. But this is what I read. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and no, you're 100% true. Is it's consistency, and that's I mean, if you want your project, if whether you're the producer, you're the label, or you're the band, you want the stuff to be seen. And if you just have one big drop and well, you haven't posted on social media in a month, nobody's gonna even you're not in the algorithm, nobody's gonna see it. So
Yeah.
doing that consistency and building it up is definitely a good way to do it.
Remember MySpace? Wow, that was
Oh yeah,
that
Friendster. Friendster was before MySpace. I remember
really.
Friendster even.
All
I'm
right.
an old guy.
MySpace was really cool for a little while. Um, I mean, there were bands that were getting signed off of MySpace because they got so big and they marketed themselves right. And it was probably more of an accident. They weren't like, I'm going to market myself. They were just posting and doing stuff and then got attention and it worked. And then that turned into Facebook, and then Facebook. Boy, there's just so much out there, and
Oh,
Facebook turns into a lot of weird stuff too.
it's fun though. It's easy to find the other weird people in your community though, with
There you go.
hashtags and Facebook groups and TikTok communities and everything else. It's kind of nice to be able to find that if you got a niche market or something like that for a project, especially like you love the weird stuff, same as me. So sometimes it's like, well, try to explain a project or something, like compare it to something. You're like, it's never been done. How do you explain
Yeah.
this? Like, this is what I'm looking for. Somebody out there knows. And that's one great thing about social media is being able to help find the fans and the friends out there.
Yeah, the craziest stuff, like the groups. There's a group for everything you can imagine. Like a group. Like I'm going to work on my car, or work on my house, or, or whatever it is. And of course, music stuff to the studio stuff. Yeah,
Well, and like you had mentioned too, it's a lot of it is with the word of mouth. Nowadays, it's not like what we talked about earlier before we started recording is tagging collaborators on like Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that. It's not like it's name dropping anymore. Now it's just straight making connections. So like if you've got something and you can name drop someone you've worked with and tag them as a collaborator on a project, that really helps push I mean, you and whoever else you're tagging as well, especially if you got more than one person that in that, like you're talking about, hey, I got this project that reminds me of the one I did with ICP or Tech Nine, and you're able to tag these people. Well, now they've got might have a similar fan base, but they got a lot of different fans too. So even they're getting helped in posts like that. So people got to remember, like, name dropping is it's important, but now you can do it by collaborating on social media. And if they don't want to do it, they just don't accept the collaboration. So it's nothing. It's not like, it's not like in the old days shaking hands. You said the wrong name to the wrong person. You might not work again.
Yeah. 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 Good Lord. You've been to Los Angeles? Like, talk about name dropping. Good God. It's,
No,
it's,
I've never
oh,
been, and I hope to keep it that way.
it's unbearable. Just trying to hang out with people, and they're just like, "Oh, I know them. I know this person." I'm like, "Good Lord, I don't care." Maybe I should
How,
care.
yeah, sometimes it's nice. You'll hear a name and be like, oh wait, that one might interest me. I might, but you got to sift through a lot. You got to
Yeah.
sift through a lot. That's for sure. Oh, excuse me. So, as a producer, what's some mistakes you've seen? Since we're talking about marketing, what's some mistakes you've seen artists make when they go to when you've helped them finish up this project, you got it perfect, and then you sit back and you watch it just because of something that they did wrong on their part, usually because of just not knowing better.
I would say that their biggest mistake was not listening to me enough. And the next biggest mistake is your songs are not good enough. And that's it. That's it. And that's what all the different bands that I was in, that was always, not always, but often the reaction from a record label or manager that we were trying to connect with. It's like, you don't have a hit song. And we're like, yeah, we do. Everyone thinks that what they're doing is this, a hit song or this great thing. It's not. You need to find someone that gets what you're doing, and then listen to their advice. And hopefully it's the right advice. Sometimes it's not. Often it's not. But the main thing for me that I try to do is make their song better. Which means make it more commercial. And no matter what style of music it's in. If it's a pop song, there's obvious things there. But if it's like a weird underground song, well, it still has to be catchy
There's
for
yeah,
people.
there's still a formula. There's still a formula there to a popular song. It's got to be an earworm. It's got to catch you right off the start and keep you. So yeah, it doesn't matter what genre. If it's some weird underground thing or a pop song or hip hop or punk or metal, there's certain things you got to do. If it's like, ask them like, do you want a hit song or you just want to keep making music? There's a huge difference.
Yeah. And back in the day, artists would make an album, and you can have filler songs on the album. But now if someone has a filler song, there's no reason to even work on it. There's no reason to put it out because it doesn't fly. Unless, there are some artists that are still album-oriented artists, that they have a fan base that wants their whole album, wants to hear the whole thing. A lot of Detroit stuff, Insane Clown Posse to Jack White, they have really strong fan bases that
Oh
want to hear
yeah.
everything they do. So, but for the average artist, there's no room for filler songs anymore.
No, and especially uh, I mean, couldn't imagine what the percentage of artists that are unsigned compared to signed is. And a lot of time nowadays, no, they just prefer not to be signed because you could do so much of it on your own. You can record at home in a room, do all of it. You can get your vinyl pressed, even in distribution, all
Yeah.
on your own anymore. So I think that's a big part of it is that so many people are doing it on their own. There's almost no physical copies anything anymore. I mean, to find a band that's actually, now you'll see they're starting to re-release stuff like on vinyl and even
Yeah.
on CD because it was never really released over the last 5 or 10 years because from solid, print media kind of died off, press media. So I think when you don't have that label backing, so many people don't worry about the album because there's not a physical copy, so it's not an album drop
Yeah.
in the same sense. So you see hey, we got a new single coming out. We got a new single coming out. We got a new single coming out. Well, stop calling them singles because you're never going to put an album out. You're just dropping a new song because that's what you prefer to do. And some people make a damn good living doing that.
Yeah.
So I'm not knocking it. It's different for every band and every genre and even every, different area. I mean, it's all logistic on where you live, on how you're going to release your music and where your fan base is. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, no one's album oriented anymore. So that's why there shouldn't be filler songs because almost every song's coming out as a single release, or they're dropping 6 singles on an 8-track album.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a funny thing these days, like you were saying, how people are not even signing record deals. Here's the weird part: is like you have to already be kind of famous to even get a record deal. They're not even like they used to develop artists, record labels and managers. They don't do it anymore. You already have to have a huge fan base, and then if you already have that, why would you want to sign with a record label? Unless you're trying to get to pop radio, top of the charts. Which sometimes you can. Look at is it Tom McDonald? Is that his name? That underground rapper? Is that it? And he just I just saw a post, a random thing, and I think he's #1 on Billboard this week. So it can be done, and boy, he put in the work though. I mean, I don't know that much about him, but he put in the time and the work for that. So why would he want to sign with a record label? They're just going to take the money that he's earned on his own.
Well, that's why you see so many bigger artists especially now coming up, you'll see them, they start their own production, then they start their own label, and then that way they don't ever have to deal with it. They just decide, let's just do it ourselves.
Yeah.
And then they make a little money off some other artists and bring them up along with us.
Yeah, that's what, once again, that's what Insane Clown Posse did back in like 91. They started their own
exactly.
record label. And
I still remember I had Great Malenko on cassette. I still remember when
yeah.
that one came out. That was I would have been 16. Well, when was that? That was like maybe 92 or 93 maybe?
No, that's more like 97.
97? Was it that late?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't think it was that late. I guess that's a little better. I'm not quite as old as I think.
Yeah. So they and all kinds of artists have done that, and then some artists will be on a big label, and then they'll get dropped, and then they're like, well, cool. Now they'll put out their own records on their own label, and maybe it's not going to hit on radio like it would, because the major labels have the radio and video stuff. They have it all locked down. They have the monopoly on it. So you're not going to get through that.
And who listens to the radio anymore? What percentage of people listen to the radio? Everybody's got streaming, or they've got a device that just plays the music in the house on command. So it's not that big of a loss not having access to that. I mean, yeah, I've talked about it with a lot of people. Like in the old days, it was, well, and still to this day, if you could get your project in print and on radio, you could probably be successful and make a living, or at least make some decent money doing it. And it's still the same, and people forget, podcasts, there's internet radio. I mean, there's a million internet radio out there, even if it's just some kid in the basement, he's got one listener and it says mom upstairs. There's internet radio to get your damn music heard. Get it out there somewhere. Get talking, find podcasts, find small local print even. There's especially print media. It's almost dead. So look for local print, local media that still prints. They'll be happy to cover your band if they got an entertainment section for the weekend's paper. I mean, people are still buying it. Somebody's going to see it. It's not a bad idea to go old school sometime.
Yeah, that's great advice there. Just reach out to all the podcasts and the internet radio stations, because most outlets are starving for content. And they all just run the same thing every day. How many times every day do I hear about Taylor Swift? Like, good Lord, it's like, they got nothing else to talk about.
And that's just on the NFL Network.
Yeah. Right.
I can't lie. I love the fact that she drives so many people nuts just because of the football thing. I'm becoming a bigger and bigger fan just because how much people dislike her now. I'm like, go for it.
Yeah, hate is a very similar emotion to love. You know,
Yeah.
people are like complaining about it, but then they're still listening to it and going to the concerts, and so yeah, I
Yep.
don't
And
buy
it's
it.
the same ones they complain on Facebook, and it's like, you understand, you just commented on that, so it's going to be all down your feed now. So that's all you're going to see. You probably shouldn't have complained. It's best to keep
Yeah,
our mouths
yeah,
shut sometime.
yeah.
All right. So what I got a question for you. So, what marketing mistakes have either you made or you've seen, it's probably seen other people make that you saw it happen and it's changed the way you've done things since then? Something that you learned from.
Yeah, like I mentioned, I've had some record deals, and I've seen the labels do things and tell me, "Oh, don't you worry, we know what we're doing. Don't you get involved in this." And I'm like, this is not going to work. I knew it wasn't going to work, and they spent tons of money on one thing, and like trying to go to radio, trying to go straight to radio. I don't think it works unless you have a grassroots following, and you've gone through all these other channels. Back again, 10, 20 years ago, there would be regional or or local print media, and then get out and tour and perform all the time and keep growing your area. I've been involved with a couple projects that just put all the money in radio, and it's not enough. So that's one mistake. My mistakes are not having a marketing degree. you know, that might have helped. And I was used to just having a job at a studio, so I wasn't out there having to hustle like that so much through most of my production career. But then it all changed, and all of a sudden the whole internet marketing thing. I don't even know when that really took over. So yeah, I should have had a degree in that, or just read a book. I don't know.
I've got a whole closet full of marketing books from when I got my degree. I will
All right,
ship them
yeah,
to you.
good,
I'll
good.
ship them
That's
to
great.
you. All right. So, what projects you got coming up?
I just had a song on the new Insane Clown Posse record called the Knot. So that's cool. And then that's out already, which is this is it came out in August of 25. So and then I have a bunch of songs that we keep releasing singles with this artist Jess Ford. It's like a Christian pop kind of rock artist, and I don't know how she bills herself. Christian rock or pop or contemporary Christian. That might be it. And then I'll be working on a record soon with Eliza Neils, awesome blues rock artist out of Detroit and out of New York. That should be coming out maybe before the end of the year. And great stuff there. She's out touring, performing all the time. Go check her out if you see her around. And then we're always talking about putting out more Zug Island songs. So maybe that'll happen someday.
Yes, please do so.
Oh
Because
yeah.
because I research all my guests and stuff, because I always want them to feel as comfortable as possible so they have a good experience. And I've been deep diving, listening to Zug Island, and I love it. So yeah, I love the weird. So when the first time our first phone conversation we had, you're like, "Well, my stuff's kind of weird." I'm like, "Oh, tell me more. Tell me more. I
That's
know
good.
I'm gonna like this."
Well, that's cool. It's good to hear someone looked into it, and yeah, it's just it's weird. Especially like the first album was really out there, which is the most popular one of ours. So yeah, weird music. Keep music weird.
Keep music weird. Keep the world weird. It's better than angry.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Well, Mike P, thank you very much for coming on. We've had a few reschedules and stuff, so thank you for being able to make it today. I appreciate it.
Oh, that's cool. Thanks
And
for
I'll
having me.
have to have you back again, definitely. This is a good time. So, and thanks again to Sean Murphy for the connection. It's
Yes,
all
thanks,
about
Sean
networking.
Murphy.
Thank you, Sean. All
Networking,
right.
there it
Well,
is.
all right. Well, everybody, thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. Give us some feedback. Want to know what we're doing right and wrong. And as always, have fun, because in other words, it don't matter.